Hello, my name is Taylin Ziegler, and for my demonstration speech topic, I have chose to teach you what to do if your dog breaks a nail severely enough that it's bleeding. The first thing you're going to want to do is safely secure your pet and restrain them from moving or damaging their nail any further. Now, if you have a little dog, it's pretty easy to do. As you can see, I can lift him up, I can move him around, I can do basically whatever I want, get the paw that's injured. But if you have a bigger dog, the easiest way that I have found to restrain a bigger dog would be to get them onto their back and then straddle them facing whichever paw was the injured paw. Now, the second step is going to be applying pressure to the affected area. There are two different ways you can go about this. The first one will be to grab the leg that he's bleeding or she is bleeding from, grab right below what you would consider a dog's wrist or their cubitus, and squeeze as if they were a human like you see on the TV shows to help stop the bleeding. You apply pressure. The second way would be to grab a gauze pad and apply pressure directly to the injured area. Now, if the bleeding were to persist after you still applied pressure and it was that bad of a split, you're going to want to have something called septic powder, which is something most dog owners keep on handy in their first aid kit for their animals. Now, what you're going to do is get a little bowl or container. I have a little bowl. You would dump just a little bit in there, and it is safe for humans. Now, I would also suggest applying the septic powder two different ways. The first way is to take an open bowl full of it and just dunk their nail into it. But I think the best way to get it everywhere would be to take a little scoop up some of the powder, and then just drop it into the wounds directly. You want to make sure you cover all the area that the blood is coming out of. That should stop the bleeding fairly quickly. Then the last step would be, of course, to apply some wrap. I personally use no chew wrap because if they try to eat it off of their foot, it will not taste very good. All you would do is put a gauze where the wound is. Put a gauze where the wound is on the nail, and then wrap their leg up. And that would be the end of that. An extra precaution, if you either cannot get them bandaged or you know you have a chewer on your hand, would be a handy dandy cone. This one comes apart right here, and you can adjust it to many different sizes. It's already adjusted right now, so I don't want to undo it. Then once it was on the dog, you put this band on it to tighten it more around their neck so it doesn't slip off. Here, Cookie. And Cookie's going to demonstrate for you with it on. And now she can't get to her paws or lick them or mess with them. Another option would be to put booties or socks on. And as you can see, the cone comes off very easily with human help, but a dog cannot get this off as easily. I've had the same one used for 4 different dogs for 3 years, and I've never had an issue with it coming off, as long as you put the cone on the correct way. The next step would be the aftercare. One would be always call your veterinarian, because your veterinarian is going to know exactly what is needed further with your dog, or if you did a perfectly good job taking care of it yourself. But some dogs go on to need cauterization, or they actually broke a bone, so it's always good to call the veterinarian and make sure that your dog is okay. Secondly, once you get the dog home, if the vet doesn't already tell you or you choose to not go to the vet, the next step you're going to want to do is make sure that this stays very clean. Every time they come inside, you're going to want to clean off their paws for them to make sure there's no dirt getting into their wound. You could try spraying some hydrogen peroxide on it and wrapping it back up. You could keep it wrapped as much as possible so that the dog leaves it alone. Really just trying to not irritate it like any other normal wound with like a person. Now, the reason that I chose this topic and it was a specific interest to me was obviously it has nothing to do with mortuary like my field of study, but I have 4 dogs, as you saw in the video, and I like to always be prepared. I've also had 2 of them break nails, and although I was very prepared for it, it was very scary and frightening to not know what to do in the moment. So I would like other people who own dogs and animals to be more prepared in case this were to happen to their animal.